Hey, what's up guys? It's Nick from Fit Futures here with yet another answer to yet another question. Today's question comes from Georgia in Takapuna. Her question is, Nick, what is the difference between machine weights and free weights? Well, Georgia, the sources of resistance are slightly different. So you see with machine weights, they are typically, the weight stack itself is actually accounted for by the levers and the pulleys or the cables on the machine. That means that we're not actually at any risk of injury or anything like that when we are performing exercises utilizing machines. So from a safety standpoint, we're a little bit more safe, which is why we tend to direct new gym members or new clientele towards those types of sources of resistance. The beauty with machine weights is that they're very easy to use. There's pin and plates, which basically means that we can easily raise the weight, we can easily decrease the weight, but there's also levers and pulleys and little nooks and crannies that we need to educate the clients on. Take for instance the leg extension. You've got the back pad that you would need to adjust based on the person's height and their individual metrics. You would also then need to make sure that the pads are aligned and comfortable so that they can actually execute the movement. And then from there, the machine is in control of the weight stack and the individual can safely execute the movement, especially if they're a novice. Now, free weights on the other hand, they're the other sources of resistance. They're the dumbbells, they're the barbells, they're the weight plates, they're also the kettlebells and the power bags, and they're things that the individual performing the activity would need to control throughout the entire movement, meaning that it doesn't have the benefit of the machine assisting with respects to movement of the weight. Those are things like your deadlifts, those are things like your squats, your bench press. You kind of are sacrificing an element of safety when you are performing free weights, just by the very nature of the design of those particular exercises. And as the weight increases, so let's say for argument's sake you're performing a 1RM or close to a 1RM for bench press or for squats, or you're performing heavy repetitions of these weights, these exercises, the way around the safety aspect is that you would involve a spotter, which is commonplace actually in a lot of gyms. If you're a PT working with a client, you're there to assist. If you're training with a friend or a family member or a workplace colleague of yours, then again, you guys can assist each other in that regard. So really, it's just a way of doing things within a gym. They differ, they've each got their pros and cons, but they each warrant use in any one training program. A couple of videos ago, I spoke about the muscles that are activated during a squat and the fact that during a squat across the hip and the knee, within the quadriceps muscle group, you have biarticulate muscles and you've got the single joint flexors, all that kind of stuff. And we spoke about the fact that the rectus femoris muscle, which is the big one that runs down the quadricep, would both be shortening and lengthening across the joints during that particular movement, in which case we would need to perform leg extensions in order to truly hit it. Well, how do we perform leg extensions? We perform them utilizing machine weights. So even though machine weights are a little bit safer, even though machine weights are typically really good for use by beginners, they still have their place with the rest of us too. So Georgia, I hope that answered your question. Guys, if you've got questions for us, please feel free to get in touch. If you're interested in watching more videos, click the link wherever you can find it on the page and watch our previous content and keep an eye out for future content. Until next time team, keep safe.